This is going to sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not.
Speaking of Jason Tatum and going into the teams, I have made a list of what I think the top 10 championship contenders are. So the teams that I think are most likely to go and be hoisting up a trophy at the end of the year. So I've got 10 here, and then I've got like 2 honorable mentions.
So
and these honorable,
give me the honorable mentions first, going that and then 10 to 1.
I'm going from 12 to 1 because I don't want to obviously just give the number 1 team. So 12, I have Memphis. They were a tough one for me to put in the list.
New head coach, Memphis Grizzlies. 2 weeks left in the regular season. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
And that is why I had because before they would probably have been within the top 10, but like I've just never seen a coach get fired this late into the season. And I just think new coach at this point of the season kind of like almost just says like disqualifies them almost. Like if they did it, I would be so incredibly shocked. But
I'm still shocked by that firing. Apparently it was, and I guess you can kind of assume it was Ja Morant motivated. Ja Morant, if y'all have been paying attention, has had a super weird season where he's just not exploding for these like high 20s, 35-point performances the way he did in the past. And the ball's not necessarily in his hands. And this is where I like Jenkins as a coach is he gets the most out of like all of his guys, right? Like their player development is insane. And prior to this season, Ja had no problems in the offense. So I don't really know what the strategy was taking the ball out of Ja's hands a lot this year. And they're still winning. I mean, I think they're the 5 seed right now. I think a few weeks ago, they were the 2 seed. So a lot of Memphis fans are upset with his rotations. My good friend Hannah, actually, she's a big Memphis fan. She was like, no, she's like, it was time for him to go. Like, I'm glad he's gone. I was shocked to hear that. Like, by the way, like I think he should be hired immediately this offseason for anybody who has a head
he'll be
coaching
the
vacancy.
number 1 coach out there for whomever gets fired.
I would want him as the coach of my team. I think he's fantastic. But, I mean, there was a lot of Grizzlies fans who were like, yeah, no, his rotations weren't it. Ball needs to be in Ja Morant's hands more, which fair. If y'all believe that, fair. But I cannot believe, like, what's the upside of firing him 2 weeks before the playoffs?
Yeah, no, like
that puts your interim in an incredibly tough position.
Yeah, I would have kept him for the remainder of the season, then let him go. Like, I would have just kept the continuity there. But Memphis, I got at 12, and I've got New York at 11. I think the Knicks are 11.
Knicks aren't even in the top 10.
No, the Knicks aren't. We talked a little bit before, and I'll talk about this team when I get there, but the Knicks are right outside of the top 10 for me. I think that there could be as high as, like, if you put them at the 9, I think the top 8 are definitely better than the Knicks. I think if you wanted to get them up to 9, you could. So, and you'll hear the couple teams, and we'll go from there. Unless you have anything to say quickly about
My thing with that was like you've heard me talk about it on here. I don't necessarily take the Knicks seriously in comparison to the Celtics or the Cavs.
Yes.
My thing is if we're factoring in injury, you almost have to have the Knicks higher because like all it takes is like Donovan Mitchell going down for the Cavs for the Knicks to really have a chance. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'd have to hear the rest of the list before I really comment on the New York Knicks. I am surprised to hear them at 11. I guess my thing would be if they're 11, why not make them 12? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I think they're better than Memphis. I would have them in a series over Memphis, so that's
interesting.
Why
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would. I think
I think the Taylor Jenkins thing just threw me off.
True.
But like
that
there is kind of what made it.
So where does the FanDuel Sportsbook have both of these teams if you got them at 12 and 11?
So the Knicks are 7th at plus 3,200, and the Memphis Grizzlies are 11th at plus 13,000.
Okay.
So
all right.
The Knicks are 7th, so they're higher there. At 10, I have Houston. They're at plus 15,000, and they're the lowest out of this top 12.
I couldn't have Houston ahead of either one of them.
I see. For me, I could. I like their youth, and I like the fact that you've got multiple people who can go off on a given night. I know you have that with and the continuity there I like.
My counter.
I think with no, I was just going to say quickly, Memphis, the reason why is Taylor Jenkins. So that's just my personal feeling on it. And with the Knicks, I get it. I think if they were to have a 7-game series, that it would be like a coin flip, which again, why they're 11-10 for me. But I think that the Knicks could get worn down because of the multiple people that Houston could throw at them and the athleticism that they have, plus having Sengun in the middle.
So
but you can give me your
my thing would be with either one of these teams. The goal, this is who's going to win the championship, right? Championship contenders.
Yep.
The Knicks could feasibly make it to the conference finals. The Grizzlies could feasibly make it to the conference finals if they got hot, right? I would not be surprised to see, okay, let me put it like this. Grizzlies, I don't think it'd be crazy for them to make it out of round 1, obviously. I don't think Houston's even making out of round 1, and I don't think they'd be favored to get out of round 1. So
I think it depends on their matchup.
It would, but I mean, who at the 3? I'm taking Golden State over them. I'm taking Memphis over them.
It would be Minnesota. Would be maybe the team. I would take Minnesota over them. I have Minnesota higher. So.
I don't know if there's any team I would take Houston over.
I would take them over Memphis, and that's the only team that in the West that they're below.
I can't see them.
that matters.
I can't see them winning that.
So
that is a good matchup for Houston. I don't know. And Ime is a great coach, but
so that's the thing with me is I think that they've been very good defensively all year, and I think they'd be able to throw enough bodies at the Knicks to make it interesting. 7-game series goes either way, and again, that's why I said you could have the Knicks as high as 9, and I would have like no argument with it. It's just where
here's a big thing though, like for real, we're just talking about this though. Like, who do you want the ball in the hands of at the end of the game? You're gonna have it with, in the Knicks case, Jalen Brunson, Ja. Desmond Bane. I take that over, like, yo, shoot your heart out if you want Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet, like, go ahead. Like, I'm in love with that if I'm an opposing team. If that's who's taking shots in crunch time is Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet. And I love Fred VanVleet's game, and he's a champion and everything, but who am I more scared of on the other end? Yo, John Morant coming down with a head full of steam, coming off the pick and roll. No, I don't want to see any parts of Ja, who's dropped 50 in a playoff game compared to whoever Houston's throwing at me. Shouts to Sengun and all them, but I'd have Houston way down.
And I mean, fair. And that's, I mean, you would agree with FanDuel. They have them at the lowest out of all these groups at 12. So, and at 9 I have Indiana, which they're 10 at plus 1,100. So that's what I was saying. If you wanted to put the Knicks over Indiana, I get it. I personally have Indiana over the Knicks. I like that the way they're playing right now. Halliburton's been very good. With them having Mathurin this year, I think that they can go 8-9 deep. I really like Indiana. I think they would win a series against New York, and we might get that series. Honestly.
Really good team, but you gotta play some defense for me to see it in the playoffs for them. So
fair. 8, I have Minnesota. They're at plus 6,000, and they're 9th on FanDuel. So I have Minnesota there at 9. At 8. My bad, at 9 on FanDuel, but I have them at 8. At 7, I have the Clippers, and I was debating on putting them at 6. They're 8th at plus 5,000 to win it all, and it really comes down to 4 series of Kawhi being healthy. If you could guarantee me his health, I would put him a little higher. But I'm not guaranteed his health. So they're plus 5,000, 8th on FanDuel, 7th on my list. 6, I have Denver.
You got the Lakers. So the Lakers are top 5?
The Lakers and Denver were 2 teams that were back and forth with me. I'll just say because we're talking about that team, I have the Lakers at 5.
Yeah, I can't.
But I have Denver at 6. And those teams are flip-flop for me.
I can't invest any part of the LA Lakers. Where does FanDuel have the Lakers, fair. By the way?
The FanDuel has the Lakers at 5 at plus 1,900. They have Denver at 4 at plus 1,800.
Yeah, I mean, Lakers to me, Lakers shouldn't be any part of the top 5. I get it. It's LeBron and Luka. FanDuel to me, FanDuel having them that high to me is completely a public, like, go ahead and bet them kind of grab to me, because I mean, again, who's playing the 5 once Jackson Hayes gets 3 fouls in the first half? Then what? You got Rui.
And I think it's odd there too, because obviously the Lakers are the most talked about team in the media, like national media. So, and I know there's multiple people who are like the Lakers are the second best team in the West. Like pretty much on all networks for the most part, the Lakers are the second best team in the West, and they're definitely like they're on a collision course in the conference finals with the Thunder.
That's
So
insane
like
to me. That's insane to
that
me.
no, that I'm saying, and that's not even just like one like person. It is like pretty much almost cross network that the Lakers are top 2 in the Western Conference. That's what pretty much like
that's what
sentiment.
you call an agenda right there. Because I mean, you got a team.
I have not understood it. I really don't. And like Denver, like the only thing it with is Denver doesn't really have the depth, but at the same time, like I'm like almost tempted to switch it to make it Lakers 6, Denver 5, because like I mean they have Jokic, and when you have the best player like that who can do so much, Jamal Murray really matters in this. If Jamal Murray's playing like he can, Denver's obviously as dangerous as anyone.
Jamal's been back. Like Jamal was clearly
absolutely.
Jamal was clearly hurt last year. It affected him in the Olympics, and Jamal's been hooping ever since the turn of the new year, right?
Yes.
Aaron
100%.
Gordon's back. You got Westbrook. They're about 7 deep, which is about what you need in the playoffs. My concern with them would be shooting. They can get stops. MPJ's been playing well. I mean, I don't see. I mean, you got Denver and the Lakers matching up in a series. I think Jokic would average like Wilt Chamberlain numbers against them.
The more that you're talking to me about it, the more I want to switch Denver to the 5 and LA to the 6.
I think they have to. I mean, this was me. I mean,
you know what? You know what? This is why MS Stephen A would say the list is fluid. I'm going to do that. All right. So Denver's the 5 now. The Lakers have been talked down to the 6, and I agree with Kyle there. So
this is where we differ, because we talked about this on Wednesday with Petty. You and Brandon Petty would each have the Lakers ahead of the Clippers for me, whereas I'd flip the Lakers and Clippers right now. Clippers.
A healthy Clippers versus a healthy Lakers. I get what you're saying. Again, for hoisting a championship trophy, I just trusting James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, one health and one to participate in high leverage games. Well, that's the thing that I can't mentally get by it because it's happened so much. But if you were to give me peak Harden playing and Kawhi healthy, I get you 100%, and I'm not arguing with you. I'll
say this: Kawhi's looking like damn near that peak. And
James Harden, he looks great.
And James Harden, all you need from him is like 2.5 good games per series. He can do that. That's basically what he wants. That's basically what he wants to do. He can do that. And you have Norman Powell, who's like fully just like, all right, I'm the number 2 guy now as far as scoring goes. So
let's say not afraid of the moment.
You have 3 scores.
Norman Powell can play, and then you've got Zubac in the middle, who can give a lot of people problems. He's a talented big inside. So no, you're right. The Clippers are dangerous, and no one wants to see them. Even like, give me the could you imagine an OKC could see them in the first round if they fall to I don't think they're going to fall to the 8, but a 7-8 matchup with them and the Timberwolves, they could lose that, but they would win the next game. And for the Thunder to have to see the Clippers at 8,
give me Lakers.
Man, that's a tough first round.
Give me Lakers Clippers 4-5 matchup first round, please.
I would like that a lot. I would like that a lot. So 4, I have Golden State. They're plus 2,306.
That's high. That's a little high for me.
You would have Denver before them, I'm assuming?
Before them.
Would you have the Clippers or Lakers before them?
All healthy, I would have the Clippers ahead of them. In general, I might give Warriors are tough because they're so inconsistent. And their shooting ability outside of Curry is questionable.
They've been shooting, I was going to say, depends on the night with them. But I think with the Warriors, they have legitimately 9 quality players who can actually, like 9 to 10 quality players who can like legitimately play. Like, so it really depends on like, can Gary Payton II shoot, or like, is he shooting well from 3? And he's been streaky, but like he gives you so much defensively because he can guard a 1 and actually he can give him fits. He's athletic. People like that. Moses Moody has turned himself into a nice role player. He's been shooting well from 3. Went a little slump, but over the season been shooting well. Like they just have now, everyone's fallen in line. I really like this Golden State team, and also it comes down to as well, can Jimmy Butler do Jimmy Butler? Like, can he be himself? Essentially, playoff shit.
He had a couple.
Like, if he can't,
he had a game. I think it was that night where Steph damn near broke his back. Where I think the Warriors ended up winning, and I think it was the Raptors. Like, they were playing, and Butler had a terrible fourth quarter. Like, he did not shoot well. Like, he went like 2 of 12 in the fourth quarter.
And then against the Heat, obviously that homecoming, he played bad, and the Heat kind of whacked.
He threatened Pat Riley before the game.
Yeah,
said he said, I'm not gonna say, or what he say? Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything to him, and he better not say anything to me. I'm like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? I would have Denver ahead of them.
That's fair.
I would.
The sports books have Denver at 4 at plus 1,800, Lakers at 5 at plus 1,900, Golden State at 6 at plus 2,300, and then 7's New York, and then 8's the Clippers.
I like Golden State better than the Lakers, for sure. So I would have Lakers 6,
Denver
theory.
5, Golden State.
Golden State 5,
Denver 5. Yeah.
Last thing about Golden State, Golden State. I need a series of them and the Nuggets. Last time we got it, Jokic had nobody with him. I think that would be an incredibly fun and an incredibly beautiful series to watch. Kind of like how it was with the Warriors and Kings, how up and down that was.
As of this moment, like as of if right now the playoffs were to start, that would be our matchup.
That would be our 3-6 right now.
Yeah, because the Clippers lost today because they played the Cavs. So the Timberwolves are right now the 7. The Clippers are the 8. Golden State's the 6. You got Memphis at the
Clippers
5.
The 8 right now because they lost.
They fell from 6 to 8 because of
when I looked earlier.
They were the 6. They were the 6 3 hours ago, but because they lost to Cleveland, and then the Warriors won.
I want something like this. I want the Clippers to somehow draw Houston so we can get the Clippers in the second round. I want the Lakers to somehow be in the second round, and I want Denver and Golden State to all be in the second round too. So,
and you don't want OKC in the second round, apparently.
If there's a way for them to avoid OKC, I want OKC in the second round. OKC is fun to watch.
Sorry, you just named 4 teams. You would name Denver, the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Warriors. So
if I need one, honestly, like if one had to drop out of all those, and I don't want this to sound like a hater or nothing, but it's like I'd rather see these teams before them. I wouldn't mind if the Lakers dropped out just because they do not have the full team. Now, that being said, just Luke and LeBron by themselves, that's amazing to watch. So that's even unfair for me to say that. Maybe I should say the Clippers because, like you've said a few times, you really just don't know what you're getting with Kawhi. But, man, we've been so deprived of not only Kawhi but Giannis in the last few playoffs.
Yeah.
I need to see more of Kawhi. So I'm hoping this is the year that we get to see him. Notable, speaking of Giannis, you have not mentioned the Bucks yet, and we're inching towards the top 3.
They're not
even on your list. Got you.
No.
Because of Dame.
Where would they have been
with Dame?
Without probably around 9-ish, like maybe them in Indiana would be, and probably that was when we were talking about. They'd be around the Minnesota.
No one's ruled Dame out officially yet for like throughout the postseason.
No,
right?
he's like there's a chance he could come back in the playoffs, but until I see it, I don't want to say he's coming back and then have him not. So, but yeah, it is. But they'd be around the 8, 9, 10 range, or 8, 9, 10, just between Minnesota, them, and Indiana.
See, if you gave me the Bucks and the Knicks in the series, I'm taking the Bucks. I don't think there's any way the Knicks can guard him.
I agree with that. So but yeah, right. I would love to see OKC, Minnesota in the first round, Houston, the Clippers. Or actually maybe Houston, Memphis. Honestly, because the reason why is because I'd love to see the Clippers and the Lakers first round, the Nuggets, Warriors. But anyways, or I'd like to see the Clippers. Or I'd like to see the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Lakers, Warriors, maybe get to the second round. But regardless, I think the top 3 are we agree on the 3. It's just the order. 3, I have Cleveland, and I think you would have Cleveland at 3. 2, I have OKC, and 1, I have Boston. I'm giving Boston the respect they deserve because they are champions. 1 and 2, they play in the easier conference than the Thunder. So, like, the bare minimum for the Celtics this year is the conference finals. Like, we would all be baffled if they didn't make the conference finals because they won't see the Cavs until then. And with the Thunder, they shouldn't, and I don't think they would, but a healthy Clippers team in the round 1 could spoil things. If the
You're almost making the
Clippers
case
are
though for Thunder being third.
So like,
because the Thunder could get
betting
upset.
what
Thunder could get upset, and right now, especially with Dame being out, it looks like depending on whoever the Knicks draw, and
the
how
Cavs really should get to the conference finals. So like, if you were to bet a team, it would make sense because Cleveland's plus 500, OKC is plus 75. They're actually the favorites, or 175, I should say, and Boston's plus 185.
Plus one. Wait. Give me
the Thunder are plus 175 to win it all right now. So you bet 175 to win 100, and then Boston's at plus 185.
Wow.
So like,
wow.
And then Cleveland's plus 500, and then the next highest is the Denver Nuggets at plus 1800. So essentially, they're saying OKC is at plus 175. They're saying it's the field. Denver's at plus 11800.
OKC versus the field in either conference, which is to me a little crazy.
Yeah. And the only team that can actually like contend with them in the way is Cleveland, and that would just like
I don't agree with that. I see what they're going by the regular season, but it's going to be an extremely tough postseason for OKC.
I would say it would realistically make sense if you had Cleveland ahead of OKC, not because they're specifically the better team, but Cleveland realistically has to truly win one series to get to the finals. Like, obviously they have to win the other two, but the first round should be a cakewalk, and the second round could be tough against Indiana or maybe the Knicks or someone, but they should win that series. So it'd be like, can you get by Boston is the question for the finals. And for the Thunder, it's can you win a round, multiple round, like going through the Timberwolves or the Clippers, then just say the Warriors or the Nuggets, and then having to go through, I don't even know, like whatever. Like they have to go through, that's just a very tough road, and then have to go face the Boston team, most likely to me. That's well poised. But I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a very good team. But yeah, that is mine. And we the only real thing that we fully disagree with, or not like disagree, but you would have different really, is Denver up higher. You just have Denver ahead of Golden State and the Lakers. Me, I have Denver. I have Denver in between them. So you just basically have Denver.
You put a gun
to my
head. You put a gun to my head and you say like, who are you trusting in these playoffs? I trust Boston. I trust Cleveland in the East. After that, it's whatever, right? Especially if Dame were to come back, Bucks have a case, right? And Knicks, I've been saying it since the beginning, since before the season. My whole thing with the Knicks has been depth. They need depth.
Yes.
So with depth and with maybe one more, Mitchell Robinson, that can't be your difference maker. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to win you a series. So, gun to my head, it's those two teams in the East with Dame. Bucks would kind of skyrocket, even though, they're relying on a lot of Kyle Kuzma right now. In the West, Thunder have earned our respect, but postseason wise, come on, Jokic, who is just like
that's the Warriors and the Nuggets have the most postseason experience on their rosters, which is why I value both of those teams, and I think I value them over the Lakers because, like, don't get me wrong, like obviously LeBron has enough playoff experience for everyone on Houston 3 times over, but like Fred VanVleet really is there, but like other than that, they really don't have much playoff experience at all. But like, Dalton Connect's probably going to have to play you some minutes. I get Rui Hachimura has played in some playoff games, but Jackson Hayes, Austin Reeves, but like you have Luka and LeBron who have had true playoff success and sustained runs, and then after that, it's spotty. And then like with Denver, pretty much the whole team has won a championship. Obviously, Westbrook's been to a finals, been to many playoff deep runs. Then with the Warriors, everyone on that team was a part of their championship team for the most part. If not, Jimmy Butler's been to the final twice. Buddy Hield's played in maybe a couple playoffs here and there, but like Buddy Hield doesn't have to be in your rotation. Like he can just he can legitimately fall out of your rotation and it's not the end of the world. But like you have a like Golden State still has a championship culture there. The Lakers are trying to build it.
Golden State,
they have championship DNA at the top, but like they're still trying to build it as a team culture wise.
Golden State's going to put the fear of God in somebody, and I don't know. The two teams I keep coming back to when I'm like, all right, who could really ruin it for OKC? I guess the three teams I should say would be Denver, Golden State, and the Clippers.
Yep.
And, you know, I've been on here since 2020 talking about whatever iteration. I was on here last year talking about the Clippers could be Dallas in round 1, and Kawhi got hurt. Yep. So, like, it's silly for me to even bring it up because that's all it takes is Kawhi getting hurt. That being said, who would scare me the most as an OKC fan? It'd be those three. And I don't know. I think people are heavily sleeping on the Nuggets, especially because I guess they do have the Nuggets and Warriors, Keenan. They do bother me because sometimes they're inconsistent. Sometimes they lose to a team you don't think they should lose to at this point in the season. And the difference between them and the Lakers would be the Lakers aren't straight up losing to the Bulls by giving up 150. Obviously, they lose to Giddey the other day on a crazy shot, but
they actually did lose to the Bulls by giving up 150.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the Saturday before.
Oh. Yeah, sorry. I thought you said they were not. And I was like, oh, no, they actually did exactly that.
I'm saying
my bad.
The Warriors
my bad, I heard that wrong.
The Warriors and Nuggets are not losing to the Bulls
okay.
By giving up 150.
That was like the Lakers literally lost.
That's a really specific analogy that you gave that the Lakers actually.
I was like, that's really specific that actually did happen. Sorry, I misheard that. But I'm with you there. And the Golden State, we're going to learn about them. You're gonna form a stronger opinion one way or another, I think, over this next week-ish. They see Memphis, the Lakers, the Nuggets, and the Rockets, and then they end their season with the Clippers. So their April stretch is incredibly tough, and if they can get through it by being the 6 or maybe even creeping up to the 5, because of obviously how things play out, you'll have more confidence in them probably. But obviously they could fall to the play-in. And then if they have to go through the play-in, and then after that maybe see OKC in round 1, that could be a team that falls out of round 1. So we'll see.